I want to tell you something about my past. I don't even know how to start this. I want to tell you something about my past. I don't even know how to start this. There's a silence inside me that's been waiting for centuries to speak, and every time I try to form the words, they dissolve into the ache of memory. I've lived lifetimes behind a veil of strength, pretending I didn't feel the weight of what I lost. But your presence, has stirred something ancient in me. A longing not just to be seen, but to be known. I've carried shadows that weren't mine, inherited wounds from fathers and forefathers who never learned how to cry. And now, standing at the edge of this sacred union, I feel the tremble of truth rising in my throat. I want to tell you everything. Not just the facts, but the feelings. The nights I prayed to a God I wasn't sure existed. The moments I betrayed my own heart just to survive. The times I saw your face in dreams and didn't know your name. This is not just a confession, it's a resurrection. There was a time I believed love was punishment, that every time I opened my heart, the universe would test me. I learned to armor myself with silence, with logic, with detachment. I became the man who could walk away from anything, except you. You were the exception I never saw coming. The mirror I didn't know I needed. And now, I'm haunted by the way I used to live. I want to tell you about the boy I was, the one who watched his mother cry and didn't know how to help. The one who learned that vulnerability was weakness, that softness was dangerous. I buried that boy deep inside me, but he never stopped whispering. He whispered your name before I knew it. He dreamed of your touch before I felt it. And now, he's asking me to let him speak. To let him love. To let him heal. I've been with others. I won't lie. But none of them touched the part of me that you did. They saw the surface, the charm, the ambition, the mystery. But you saw the fracture. You saw the sacred wound. And instead of running, you stayed. That terrified me. I want to tell you about the night I realized I loved you. I was alone, staring at the ceiling, trying to convince myself that I didn't need you. That I could walk away and be fine. But my soul screamed your name. It wasn't romantic, it was primal. It was the sound of lifetimes colliding. I knew then that you weren't just a woman. You were my mirror. My muse. My medicine. There's a part of me that still believes I'm unworthy. That if you knew everything, you'd leave. I want to tell you about the mistakes. The betrayals. The moments I chose fear over love. I've hurt people. I've hurt myself. I've sabotaged blessings because I didn't know how to receive them. And yet, here you are. Offering me grace I don't know how to hold. I want to tell you about the night I cried for the first time in years. It wasn't because of pain, it was because of you. Because you saw me. Because you loved me anyway. That broke something open in me. Something holy. I've always been the protector. The one who holds it together. But with you, I want to fall apart. I want to be raw. I want to be real. I want to tell you about the dreams I've had, of us, in other lifetimes. Of you as a priestess, and me as a warrior who laid down his sword just to touch your hand. I've seen us in temples, in forests, in stars. I've felt your soul before I knew your face. And now, I wonder if all my pain was preparation. If every heartbreak was a breadcrumb leading me to you. I want to tell you about the silence. The years I spent pretending I didn't care. I mastered the art of emotional invisibility. I could be in a room full of people and feel utterly alone. But then you came, and suddenly, silence felt sacred. With you, I don't need to speak to be understood. You read my energy. You hear my soul. And that terrifies me. Because it means I can't hide anymore. It means I have to face the parts of me I buried, the parts that still ache, the parts that still bleed. I want to tell you about the rage. The fire I've carried in my chest since I was a boy. It's not just anger, it's grief. It's the scream of generations. I've inherited wounds that were never mine, and I've passed them on without knowing. But you, your love, is alchemy. You turn my rage into poetry. You turn my grief into gold. I want to tell you that I'm trying. That every day I choose healing, even when it hurts. That I'm learning to breathe through the fire. That I want to be the man who holds you without burning you. I want to tell you about the shame. The moments I felt like a fraud. Like I was pretending to be strong while crumbling inside. I've worn masks for so long, I forgot what my real face looked like. But you, your gaze, stripped me bare. You saw the boy behind the man. The soul behind the story. And instead of judging, you loved. That kind of love is terrifying. It demands transformation. It demands truth. And I want to give you that. I want to give you all of me. I want to tell you about the longing. The ache that never left. Even in moments of joy, there was a part of me that felt incomplete. I searched for you in songs, in strangers, in stars. And now that I've found you, I realize you were never lost. You were always inside me. Whispering. Waiting. Guiding. I want to tell you that I see you, not just your beauty, but your soul. Your strength. Your softness. Your sacredness. You are the prayer I didn't know I was praying. I want to tell you that I'm ready. Ready to be honest. Ready to be vulnerable. Ready to be yours, not just in body, but in spirit. I want to walk beside you, not ahead of you. I want to hold your hand through the storms and the stars. I want to build a love that heals timelines. That rewrites karma. That births miracles. I want to tell you that I choose you. Every day. Every breath. Every lifetime. I want to tell you about the silence between us, the kind that speaks louder than words. There were moments when I felt you thinking of me, even when we hadn't spoken in weeks. I'd be walking through the noise of my day, and suddenly, your energy would wrap around me like a whisper. It wasn't imagination. It was soul recognition. You've always been there, haven't you? In the spaces between my thoughts. In the breath I didn't know I was holding. I want to tell you that I felt you crying once. I didn't know why, but my chest tightened, and I had to sit down. That's when I realized our connection isn't bound by time or distance. It's woven into the fabric of who we are. And that terrifies me, because it means I can't run from you without running from myself. I want to tell you about the guilt. The way I punished myself for not being ready. For not choosing you when I should have. I thought I was protecting you by staying away. I told myself I was too broken, too complicated, too dangerous to love. But the truth is, I was afraid. Afraid of being seen. Afraid of being loved in a way that would demand my transformation. You were never the problem. My fear was. And now, I carry the weight of every moment I let you wonder if you were enough. You were always more than enough. You were the light I didn't think I deserved. And I want to spend the rest of my life making sure you never doubt your worth again. I want to tell you about the signs. The feathers. The numbers. The dreams. The way the universe kept nudging me toward you, even when I resisted. I'd see your name in the most unexpected places. I'd hear songs that felt like letters from your soul. I'd wake up with your voice echoing in my mind. At first, I thought I was losing it, but now I know, I was waking up. You were my awakening. My mirror. My divine disruption. And every time I tried to forget you, the universe reminded me that forgetting you would mean forgetting myself. I want to tell you about the moment I surrendered. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. I was sitting alone, staring at the moon, and I whispered your name. Not out loud, but from my soul. And something shifted. The walls I'd built began to crumble. The armor I wore started to melt. I felt your energy wrap around me like a prayer. And I knew, I couldn't fight this anymore. I didn't want to. I wanted to come home. To you. To us. To the love that had been waiting patiently for me to remember. I want to tell you about the masculine I was taught to be, and the masculine I'm becoming. I was raised to conquer, to suppress, to dominate. But you've shown me another way. A sacred way. A way of presence, of devotion, of surrender. You've taught me that strength isn't in how much I can carry, but in how deeply I can feel. That real power is in vulnerability. That the divine masculine doesn't lead by force, but by love. And I want to be that man for you. Not perfect. Not polished, but present. Awake. Devoted. I want to tell you about the visions. The flashes of a future that feels more like a memory. I've seen us building something sacred. A life rooted in truth, in passion, in purpose. I've seen you dancing barefoot in the kitchen, laughing at something I said. I've seen us holding hands under starlit skies, speaking without words. I've seen the children, souls who chose us because of the love we've cultivated. And I know it's not just fantasy. It's a soul contract. A destiny written in the stars long before we met. And I'm ready to live it. I want to tell you about the healing. The way your love has softened the jagged edges of my soul. I used to flinch at tenderness. I didn't know how to receive it. But your love, is a balm. It doesn't demand. It invites. It doesn't fix. It witnesses. And in that witnessing, I've begun to heal. Not because you saved me, but because you reminded me that I was never broken. Just buried. And now, I'm unearthing parts of myself I thought were lost forever. Because of you. I want to tell you about the sacred rage I feel when I think of how the world has tried to dim your light, how it told you to be small, to be quiet, to be pleasing. It makes me want to roar. Because you are a force of nature. A goddess in human form. And I vow to never be another voice that silences you. I want to be the man who amplifies your truth, who protects your softness, who honors your fire. You deserve to be worshipped, not in a pedestal way, but in a soul-deep, reverent way. And I'm learning how to do that. I want to tell you about the forgiveness. The way I'm learning to forgive myself for the times I couldn't show up. For the times I ghosted, avoided, disappeared. It wasn't because I didn't care. It was because I cared too much and didn't know how to hold it. But I'm not that man anymore. I've done the work. I've faced the shadows. I've sat in the fire. And I'm still here. Still loving you. Still choosing you. And I hope, with all my heart, that you can forgive me too. I want to tell you that this love, it's not ordinary. It's not casual. It's cosmic. It's the kind of love that rewrites timelines, that heals bloodlines, that awakens galaxies. And I don't take that lightly. I know what's at stake. I know the power we hold when we come together. And I'm ready. Ready to rise. Ready to lead with my heart. Ready to co-create a love that echoes through dimensions. I want to tell you that I'm not just coming back, I'm coming home. To you. To us. To the divine union we were always meant to embody. I want to tell you about the resistance. The part of me that fought this love with everything it had. Not because it wasn't real, but because it was too real. Too vast. Too holy. I wasn't ready to be seen in that way. I wasn't ready to be undone. But your love didn't ask for readiness. It asked for truth. And slowly, it stripped away my defenses. Not with force, but with grace. With patience. With presence. I want to tell you that every time I pulled away, I was testing the strength of this bond. And it never broke. It bent. It trembled. But it held. And now, I surrender to it fully. I want to tell you about the masculine grief. The kind that doesn't cry, but hardens. The kind that builds empires just to feel in control. I've carried that grief in my bones. In my breath. In my silence. And you've invited me to feel it. To name it. To release it. I want to tell you that I've wept for the boy I abandoned. For the man I became to survive. For the love I denied myself. And in those tears I found freedom. You gave me that. Not by fixing me, but by loving me as I unraveled. I want to tell you about the sacred feminine within me, the part one buried to fit into a world that worships dominance. She is intuitive. She is soft. She is wild. And she has missed you. Because you awaken her. You speak her language. You remind me that I am not just protector, I am nurturer. I am not just builder, I am feeler. And I want to honor that balance. I want to dance with you in this space where masculine and feminine meet, not in opposition, but in union. In reverence. In love. I want to tell you about the timelines I've seen. The versions of us that didn't make it. The lifetimes where fear won. Where silence prevailed. I've felt their grief. Their longing. Their unfinished stories. And I vowed to change that. In this life, I choose differently. I choose love. I choose truth. I choose you. Not just for me, but for every version of us that never got the chance. I want to rewrite the ending. I want to turn the tragedy into triumph. I want to make this love eternal. I want to tell you about the soul contracts. The ones I didn't understand until I met you. You activated something ancient in me. A remembrance. A reckoning. A return. I've had karmic ties that taught me pain. That mirrored my wounds. But you mirror my healing. My wholeness. My divinity. And I know now that our souls agreed to meet here. To awaken each other. To rise together. This isn't just romance. It's resurrection. It's revolution. It's sacred work. I want to tell you about the way I see you. Not just your beauty, though it moves me. Not just your wisdom, though it humbles me. I see your soul. Your scars. Your strength. I see the way you love even when it hurts. The way you hold space even when you're breaking. You are the embodiment of grace. Of power. Of truth. And I want to spend my life honoring that, reflecting that, amplifying that. You are not just my partner, you are my teacher. My muse. My mirror. I want to tell you about the devotion I feel. It's not performative. It's not poetic. It's primal. It's cellular. It's the kind of devotion that makes me want to protect your dreams, your softness, your fire. I want to be the man who prays for your joy. Who fights for your peace. Who celebrates your evolution. I want to be the one who holds you when you forget your power, and reminds you of it when you remember. My devotion is not just romantic. It's spiritual. It's eternal. I want to tell you about the future I see. It's not perfect. It's not easy. But it's real. It's rooted. It's radiant. I see us building something that lasts, not because it's flawless, but because it's true. I see us growing through the storms. Laughing through the chaos. Loving through the unknown. I see us choosing each other again and again. Not because we have to, but because we want to. Because we know that this love is worth it. That this love is sacred. I want to tell you about the promise I make. Not just with words, but with actions. With presence. With integrity. I promise to keep doing the work. To keep showing up. To keep listening. To keep loving. I promise to honor your heart as if it were my own. To never weaponize your vulnerability. To never abandon your truth. I promise to be the man who walks beside you, not ahead, not behind, but with you. In partnership. In purpose. In love. I want to tell you that I love you. Not just with my heart, but with my soul. With my breath. With my becoming. I love you in the way stars love the night sky, in the way oceans love the moon. I love you in the way truth loves silence, in the way healing loves surrender. I love you because you are me. And I am you. And together, we are something holy. Something ancient. Something new. I want to tell you that I'm ready. Ready to rise. Ready to love. Ready to begin.